Good evening to all of you. I am Rishabh from Standard 9 and today I am here to discuss on the topic of geometry. So let's begin with the definition of geometry. Geometry comes from the word geo meaning earth and material meaning to measure. So geometry appears to the needs of measuring land. And now I'm going to discuss about the contributions of some people in geometry. There are mainly three peoples who contributed a lot in geometry. They are the Thales, Pythagoras, and the Euclid. Thales proved that a circle is bisected by its diameter, and then Pythagoras developed the theory of geometry to a great extent, and then the Euclid developed the theory and proved the various theorems by deductive logical reasoning, and previously proved the theorems. Now let us discuss about the Euclid geometry. The geometry of plane figure is generally called as the Euclid geometry. Now let us discuss about the assumptions and postulates as given by the Euclid. First understand the meaning of assumptions and postulates. Assumptions are self-evident true statement that used throughout the mathematics and not specifically linked to the geometry. But here the postulates are specifically linked to the geometry. In his book Elements, Euclid divided the book's element into 13 chapters. And in first chapter, he gave some of the assumptions and postulates. He gave 7 assumptions and 5 postulates. Let's begin with the first assumptions of the Euclid. According to the first assumptions of Euclid, things which are equal of the same thing are equal to one another. For example, if area of a triangle is equal to the area of rectangle and the area of rectangle is equal to area of a square, then area of triangle will be equal to the area of a square. And the second assumption of Euclid states that if equals are added to equals, then whole are equals. For example, if we add 5 on both sides, then the whole equation will be equal. Now let us discuss about the third assumption of Euclid, which states that if equals are subtracted from equals, the remainders are equal. Now let us discuss about the fourth assumption, which states that things which coincide with one another are equal to one another. For example, if one coin completely covers the other coin, then the both coin will be equal in size. Now let us discuss about the fifth assumption of Euclid. Fifth assumption of Euclid, which states that the whole is greater than part. For example, the pizza is always greater than its slice. Now let us discuss about the sixth assumption of Euclid, which states that things which are product of the same thing are equal. And the seventh assumption states that things which are halves of the same things are equal to one another. Now I am going to discuss about the postulates given by the Euclid. The first postulate states that there is a unique line passing through 2 points. Means a line can be drawn from any one point to any other point. Now I'm going to discuss about second postulates given by the Euclid, and that is a terminated line can be produced indefinitely. For example, a line segment that can be produced indefinitely. Now I'm going to discuss about the third postulates. The third postulate states that a circle can be bisected by a circle can be drawn from any radius and from any center. And I'm going to discuss about the fourth postulates as given by the Euclid, and the fourth postulate states that all right angles are equals. And now I'm going to discuss about the fifth postulates. The fifth postulates of Euclid states that if a straight line fall onto a straight line, making the angle on the same side of the transversal less than 180 degree, then the sides on the same side of the transversal will meet at a point. And now I'm going to discuss about some of the important terms that is related to geometry. Let's begin with a statement. A statement is a sentence which can be judged to be true or false. For example, the sum of angle of a triangle is 180 degree. This can be judged. And now I'm going to discuss about the theorem. A statement which requires a proof is called a theorem, and the theorem always requires a proof. For example, the sum of angles around a point is 360 degree. That is a theorem. Now I'm going to discuss about the corollary, and a statement which is deduced from a theorem, that is called the corollary. And now I'm going to discuss about the point. Point is an exact location of anything. Now I'm going to discuss about the line segment. The straight path between 2 points. The straight path between 2 points is called line segment. Now I'm going to discuss about ray. If a line segment is produced from on one side, then the ray will be formed. And now I'm going to discuss about the line. If a line segment is produced on both sides, then ray will form. Now I'm going to discuss about half line. For to understand the half line, let us suppose a line ABC, and A lies between B and C. And if we delete the point A, then the two remaining parts will be left. That is AB and AC, and AB and AC will be called as the half line. Now I'm going to discuss about some other points such as concurrent lines. Three or more lines. Now I'm going to discuss about the collinear points. Two or more points which lie on the same line, that is called the collinear points. Now I'm going to discuss about the intersecting lines. Two lines are said to be intersecting lines if they have any common point. Now I'm going to discuss about the parallel lines. Two lines are said to be parallel if they do not intersect each other. And now I'm going to discuss about the transversal. When a line intersects the two lines, then the line is called the transversal. And now I'm going to discuss about the lines and angles. When two lines originate from the same point, then an angle is formed. For example, here is a line AB and AC, and if it produces from the same point A, then ABC angle will be formed, and it is generally called as the angle ABC. And angle has two arms and one vertices. And now I'm going to discuss about the various types of triangles. There are various types of triangle such as acute angle, right angle, obtuse angle, complete angle, etc. So let's begin with the acute angle. The angle whose measure is less than 90 degree but more than 0 degree, that is called acute angle. And now I'm going to discuss about the right angle. The angle whose measure is exactly 90 degree, that is called the right angle. And now I'm going to discuss about the obtuse angle. The angle whose measure is more than 90 degree but less than 180 degree, that is called the obtuse angle. And now I'm going to discuss about the reflex angle. The angle whose measure is more than 180 degree but less than 360 degree, that is called the obtuse angle. And now I'm going to discuss about the complete angle. Angle whose measure is 360 degree, that is called the complete angle. And now I'm going to discuss about the equal angles. Two angles are said to be equal if they have the same measure. For example, here is a two angle ABC and BAC, and if they have same measure, just as 50 degree, then both triangles are said to be that they are both equal angles. Now I'm going to discuss about the complementary angles. Two angles are said to be complementary if their sums are 90 degree. For example, here is a angle 45 degree and another angle 45 degree. Here the sum of both the angles is 90 degrees, so it will be called as the complementary angle. Now I'm going to discuss about the supplementary angle. Two angles are said to be supplementary if their sums are 180 degree. For example, 90 degree here. 90 degree and 90 degree angle that are called the supplementary angle. Now I'm going to discuss about the interior of an angle. The all parts of the angle which lie within an angle is called interior of an angle, and the exterior of an angle is the all parts of the angle which lie outside the angle, that is called the exterior of the angle. And now I'm going to discuss about the angle bisector. Angle bisector, the ray which bisects the angle into two equal parts, that is called the angle bisector. And now I'm going to discuss about the adjacent angles. Two angles are said to be adjacent if they have one common arms, one common vertex. For example, triangle ABC and BAC is said to be adjacent angles. And now I'm going to discuss about linear pair angles. Two adjacent angles are said to be linear pair angles if their non-common arms are opposite ray. And now I'm going to discuss about the parallel lines. Here parallel lines is those lines which are parallel to each other and never intersect. And transversal are those who intersect the two lines. And now I'm going to discuss about the triangles. A plan figure which is bounded by three line segment is called a triangle. And triangle has mainly 6 parts, and the main parts of the triangle is 3 sides and 3 vertices. For example, let us suppose a triangle ABC, in which A, B, and C will be the angles of the triangle, will be the vertices of the triangle, and angle A, angle B, and angle C will be the angles of the triangle. And AB, BC, and CV will be the sides, will be the different side of the triangle. And now I'm going to discuss about the calculation of the perimeter of the triangle. The sum of all the angles of a triangle is generally referred as the perimeter of the triangle. And now I'm going to discuss about the general formula to calculate the area of a triangle. And the general formula to calculate the area of any triangle is 1/2 into base into height. And now I'm going to discuss about the types of triangle. There are various types of triangle. Let's first discuss the types of triangle on the basis of their sides. On the basis of the sides of the triangles have 3 types. That is equilateral triangle, isosceles triangle, and the scalene triangle. Equilateral triangles are those triangles whose all sides are equal. And isosceles triangles are those triangles whose only 2 sides are equal, and the scalene triangles are those triangles whose all sides are different. That is called the scalene triangle. Now I'm going to discuss about the calculation of the perimeter of an equilateral triangle. To calculate the perimeter of an equilateral triangle, we have to sum the all sides of equilateral triangle. Now I'm going to discuss about the formula to calculate the area of equilateral triangle. The formula to calculate the area of equilateral triangle is √3/4 into side square. And now I'm going to discuss about the isosceles triangle. The formula to calculate the area of isosceles triangle is b/4 into √4a square minus b square, where b is the different side, of unequal side of isosceles triangle, and a is the equal side of isosceles triangle. And there is a special formula for calculating the area of a scalene triangle, and that is called the Heron's formula. It is called Heron's because it was given by the Heron. And according to Heron's formula, the area of a triangle of different side is s minus 1, s minus a, s minus b, and s minus c. And where s is the semi-perimeter, and the semi-perimeter is the sum of different side of the triangle upon 2. And now I'm going to discuss about the types of angle on the basis of their angle. There are mainly 3 types of triangle on the basis of their angle. The first is the acute angle triangle. The triangle in which one angle of a triangle is an acute angle, then the whole triangle will be said to as the acute angle triangle. And now I'm going to discuss about the right angle triangle. The triangle whose one angle is 90 degree, then the angle will be said as the right angle triangle. And now I'm going to discuss about the obtuse angle triangle. The triangle whose one angle measure is more than 90 degree, then the triangle will said to as obtuse angle triangle. Now I'm going to discuss about some of the important point related to the triangles. The medians of a triangle corresponding to any side is the length of line segment joining the midpoint of that side to the opposite vertex. That is called the medians of a triangle. And now I'm going to discuss about the centroid. The point of intersections of all the medians of a triangle is called centroid. And now I'm going to discuss about the altitude. The altitude of a triangle on corresponding side is the length of perpendicular drawn from the opposite vertices to that side. And now I'm going to discuss about the orthocenter. Orthocenter is the point of intersections of all the altitude of a triangle. And now I'm going to discuss about the Now I'm going to discuss about the in center of a triangle. The in center of a triangle is the intersections of all the interior bisector of the triangle. That is called the in center of a triangle. Thank you.